Hey there, sheepdoggers, and welcome to another tips, tricks, and etc. video. I'm Double Skull Sheepdog. Yeah, I'm just Sheepdog, but it's a nickname I gave to myself because I keep rolling double skulls. Fun, fun, fun. Yeah, it's like a fucking critical one when you roll double skulls, except for even more upsetting. And we're here for the Dark Elf team. We are going to be doing Dark Elf tips and tricks. One of my favourite teams is the Dark Elves. I love how evil they can be. Okay, so first thing, as always, we're going to go in and we're going to talk about starting lineups for the Dark Elves, and we're going to do that very quickly. Now, there are two kind of main starting lineups that I'd advise, and interestingly, I don't actually have a preferred one. That looks cool. Hello, how are you doing, Missy? She's scary. She's very scary. And we'll call the thing like that. No. Okay, so first off, I'm going to advise something that I have never advised in a tip video yet. 2 rerolls and no apothecary. So the thing about starting off with the Dark Elves is it is a very, very, very risky. 2 rerolls. Not great. But, however, your agility is all 4s. Agility 4, agility 4, agility 4, agility 4, agility 4. So, your pickups, you know, all the important things, all your pickups, you need to roll a 1 to fail them. A standard dodge is a 1. You know, your rerolls should, and I make an emphasis on should here, your rerolls should be minimal. Now, to offset that, the starting lineup that I'd advise, technically, is 4 blitzers, 1 runner, rest lineman. To 11 people. Like so. So, the reason I'd advise this is you have your block blitzers. They are massively useful and they will stop many, many more rerolls. You know, you're going to be using these guys as sometimes the only blockers. You're playing elves, guys. You're not here to fight exactly. It's not to say Dark Elves can't be bashy. On multiple times, I have played Dark Elf teams where I have destroyed enemy teams. And I don't mean just touchdowns, I mean very literally just massive amounts of destruction. You know, so many injuries in that. But, you know, again, it's situational. It's reliant a little bit on rolling doubles and so on and so forth. Now, the arguments for this lineup is, of course, the block, but it's also this runner. Now, the runner has skills on general, agility, and passing basic. Doubles strength, but you probably won't want to be using that almost anyway. Again, situational dependent, but I'd advise even if you roll doubles, especially at the beginning, you go for other things. Now, the passing is really important because it means you can get that leader ability that gets you another reroll as long as the dude's on the pitch. And you're going to be, you know, he's the only one to start off with armor value 7. Everyone else is armor value 8. So they're fairly armored. They're not too bad. You know, they're reasonably survivable as it is. And you know, you're going to be protecting this guy anyway. He's got dump off, great skill. You know, you can give your runner the ball, run him off into the enemy territory with a couple of guards. You know, the enemy team uses blitz on him, and he just passes the ball to another player. And the blitz has been used, and then you just dodge out with the other player. You know, probably a blitzer, and get the touchdown. And again, that levels up your blitzers. Always a good thing. So, yeah, this is the reason is you can get that level up with your runner, maybe even on the first match, you know, because Dark Elf team is a scoring team. You can get that touchdown, 2 touchdowns with your runner, get him a level up, and get him the leader skill, which gives you an extra reroll. So you, instead of the 2, you now have 3. And that means you can focus on getting your apothecary and not another reroll. I mean, you know, you can drop your runner and take a lineman instead. It gives you 10k. You know, even if you lose your first game, you're more likely to be able to get that apothecary for the second game. But I'd say this is a pretty good setup. Now, the other thing you can do, which I'm less inclined to advise you to get this. Is it 2? No, it's... Yeah, no, it's 3. Again, this is... You know, the difference here is that the Witch Elf, of course, only has agility in general. You know, you won't be wanting to get leader on her. You know, it's almost the same. Also, you don't have 4 blitzers, which means you're missing 1 block. You know, like it just adds that extra chance of rerolls on both down and etc. You know, a little less effectiveness in defense when you want to be blitzing, when you want to be blocking the ball carrier with block, obviously. You know, but it does have some advantages. It has the advantage of dodge, which, you know, is great in a goal scorer. You know, dodge is very useful. It has the advantage of jump up, which means, you know, already you have a character who has the ability to... Sorry, you know, the character has the ability to jump up for free. So you can still move as far as you would usually move. Great in defense and offense. And you have Frenzy, which is a massive threat to bashy teams. I feel like I'm selling this really hard to you, and I don't want to be, because I advise the other starting lineup, but this is an option as well, and it's what I'm going to talk about. So basically, Frenzy means especially when you're defending, they're not going to be wanting to run the sides, because you can push them off. And the thing is with a Witch Elf, I'll show you kind of in game exactly what I mean. But when they're a square away from the touchline, from the sidelines, you can push them twice with Frenzy, and you can actually hit them off even if they're not standing on the line. And playing a Dark Elf team, this means that if you're playing against dwarves, if you're playing against, you know, any kind of high armored team, you have a very real threat to any of their, you know, high strength, high armor guys who are dangerous. If you know, you can dodge around, you can kind of finagle it so that you push them off the pitch. You know, you won't get any points for injury or anything like that, but you've still taken out a threat. And that's the thing, you know, like it's always a threat, you know, to make them hesitate to do certain things. So those are all the main guys. Then the last one is special unit, is Assassin. The Assassin is Dark Elf special unit. His dagger allows him to easily injure opposing players. And this is a unique thing. Player may attack an opponent with their stabbing attack instead of throwing a block at them. Make unmodified armor roll for the victim. If the score beats the victim's armor value, then they have been wounded and an injury must be made. If stab is used part of a blitz, the player cannot continue moving after it. Now, this is a great thing to have. And he also has shadowing, you know, kind of when someone moves out of his movement zone, opposing player rolls 2d6, adding their movement allowance, subtracting shadowing movement allowance. If final result is 7 or less, player with shadowing may move into the square vacated. No dodge roll. So you can actually follow people trying to dodge away from you. It's a good ability. But with all that said, 90,000, it's very situational. Most of the time you won't have an assassin on your team. If you're just looking to have fun with a Dark Elf team, like by all means, you know, get an assassin, like second, third purchase maybe, almost like a big guy, you know, save him for later on, I guess. But yeah, for the most part, these guys will be your star players, will be the guys you'll be wanting. Okay, so there we go. That's Grazyna apparently. And yeah, it's the Dark Elves. I will now show you, of course, a team. There they are. Let's just delete this team. There we go. So now we'll have a look at Valkyria. I named them all after famous female figures in history, usually warriors and the like, and gods: Athena, Artemis, Freya, Andraste, Boudica. And you can see, like, first level up, strip ball, like, too useful, you know. A blitzer with block and strip ball, considering the Dark Elves, you know, you can just, you know, 1 dice in, as long as you don't get a skull, you know, you're pretty much fine. And if you get a push, even, you still strip the ball off them, and then you're ready for, you know, elf antics, basically. I don't have any other, I don't have any other level ups right now, but you can see kind of, I went with the 4 blitzer lineup. I feel like it's a good idea to level up your blitzers as quick as possible. I do have a couple of linemen have leveled up, and of course I got them block. Now, this is what I'm going to talk about while we watch a game. So we'll watch the high rollers here, because this game against Chaos was unfortunately when the bug was going. So yeah, you can see I did get to, and he had to concede. Basically, I was gonna win that anyway, and the bug was the first block you threw, even if you were base to base, was always a blitz, and then it kept trying to make you blitz, so you could only throw 1 block a turn, which meant that as a Chaos team, he couldn't do me any damage, and I could just dodge and be ridiculous. So he conceded. Fair enough. It did unfortunately mean that I got a win. You know, I got 2 level ups and everything, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Okay, so this is the one we're gonna go with, and you can see this guy got the thing there, and it was 2-1. It was High Elves versus Dark Elves, which is a really useful game to show, because it shows me both dealing with Elf and being Elf. And that's something I haven't done a lot of. You know, I haven't showed you how to deal with Elf, because I haven't played any Elf teams up until now. And I haven't showed you being Elf, because I haven't been Elf before. I mean, I've been Skaven. Skaven are fun as hell, but they're not Elf. Okay, so we're at the High Roller Stadium. Look at these arseholes. Playing against Final Boss. Great game, Final Boss, by the way. So much fun. Like, just, so good a game, you know. It was one of those games where at the end you're just like, you know, both sides just like, damn, you know, so close, good game, Jesus. And here's Valkyria. I know they're all dudes, but there isn't an Amazon team yet, and they do have the Witch Elves. I don't have one at the moment, but they look quite feminine in their way, I guess. So I decided to call them after female warriors, because fuck it. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to sort of talk about, and one of the things I already mentioned, was the Witch Elves. Now, let's just skip through this bit, because I can get to the bit I'm talking about. Here we go. Okay, so see this guy here. If you have a Witch Elf, and like, say this guy's not here, say you have a Witch Elf here and a lineman here. What you can do is put your lineman here, run your Witch Elf to there, and blitz. Then, you know, if you can, you choose push, and you push them to there, then you get another attack, and you push them off. And that's an automatic injury roll. It's not an armor roll, it's an injury roll. And that's why you don't want your guys getting it's called crowd surfed. You don't want to get your guys crowd surfed, because you will automatically get an injury roll. You know, they may just get stunned, they may get nothing, they may get KO'd, but it increases the chances heavily of high armor teams getting a lot of injured players if you keep crowd surfing their players. So having that frenzy on an elf team is massively useful, because you know, like, you're just so able, you know, increases the chances massively of you crowd surfing their guys. High rollers get an extra reroll. And one extra thing I will mention and advise as well is, if you're using a witch elf to crowd surf someone, then I will advise you, and here you see I'm already working on a crowd surf of my own. If you're using a witch elf to crowd surf, I'll advise the blitz, because very literally, you know, if you don't blitz them, they'll just stand on the touchline themselves, and maybe even get crowd surfed themselves afterwards. So you need to know how to protect your guys as well. Now this here is a very elfy thing. Especially a very dark elfy thing. I find you're a bit more aggressive as the dark elves than you are with the wood elves or the high elves. And that is pretty much this, you know. Set up a kind of fairly defensive situation, all that kind of thing. Set up an area where you can do a bit of bashing and run a couple of guys through. Just very literally just a little bit of penetration here. You see, I've just got one guy up past their defensive line, but it means I can make a throw. You know, 4 agility on all of my guys means a good chance for throwing and catching and all of those things. And you know, a quick touchdown is an elf thing. You just go like, fuck it, touchdown. I'm gonna roll a touchdown. You can see here he's going in for a bit of bashing. You know, again, like this is the danger. You see here, I have 2 rerolls. I have no apothecary. This is a new team for him. He has 3 rerolls, 1 apothecary. Bellona KO'd. You know, your team starting out as elves is pretty likely to get injuries and etc. The thing you have to hope, especially as dark elves, especially with these teams. The thing you have to hope is that you won't get absolutely destroyed. Now, one thing I will advise, you know, considering those lineups, those are kind of standard lineups. Those are the lineups I like to go for. But it is very possible that you will prefer, after playing with the lineup I suggest, it's very possible that you'll prefer to go with something else. And I'm not gonna say that's a bad idea, basically. Because you may want to take 3 blitzers and a lineman, and you know, basically go for the apothecary first. You know, this is what Final Boss has done here, and it's a very valid tactic. Is he went with linemen. Reroll. There you go. Reroll. Throw. Joan of Arc to who's that? Andraste. And, you know, simple dodge, one roll for going for it, and we got a touchdown on turn 2. And that's elves. That's how you play elves, and that's what you'll be subjected to when you play against elves. Is basically they'll break a hole in your defenses. They will push through 2 or 3 players. You'll usually have too many to deal with. Like what he should have done there, you know, in the more technical side of it, what he should have done there is blitzed that, you know, got a 2 dice, blitzed that dude, knocked him down. Then that touchdown doesn't happen. But that's just what you have to learn as elves. If they only push 1 dude through, you blitz that dude, you knock him down, and you don't worry about anything else. You know, it's not always possible to knock him down, but you should at least try to knock him down. And you'll see here, switch view. Sorry, switch view. I'm just going to pause it quickly. You'll see here, this is a fairly aggressive elf defense. So this is defense against elves, and this is my fairly aggressive elf defense. Now you see, here for his defense, like obviously he's not going to use this, but this is bad. This is a recommended computery one, but this is bad. You know, it's too easy to go for the kind of go for the push in. Here, it's a possibility that you'll just go for it and try it. You know, kind of save your blitz, do all your movement and everything after you know, get the ball or whatever, or like etc., and just go for it. But yeah, so this is my elf defense. It's I wouldn't advise it on all teams. You know, if you're dwarves, this whole line here is pulled back, like two squares probably pulled back. you'd basically increase the chance of them having to run through multiple tackle zones, and have at least a couple of guys with tackle and block at the back, probably like one here, so they can respond to both sides as well. And you want to play deep, defending against the elves. If they then cage and move forward into your thing, then you bring your guys forward. You know, leave one or two back, and just bash your hearts out. Do as much as you can to destroy them. But yeah, you definitely need to be cautious against elves. And I think my first touchdown proves that. But yeah, this is fairly standard for, like, if you're playing humans or anything like that. Leave a couple of blitzers back here with block. Have a couple of blitzers on the edges, then the rest kind of in the center here. You know, increase the chance of them having to run through a tackle zone, and just leave it like that, and you know, kind of respond to what they do, I guess. So yeah, it was indeed. It was. I love that kickoff. It was indeed sorry. It was indeed a two-turn touchdown, which is, again, common for elves. You have to get used to... I wouldn't advise elf for a starting team, because elves will teach you bad habits. That's just pure truth, basically. Elves will teach you bad habits. You know, you'll be dodging all the time when you shouldn't. You'll be trying to pass when you shouldn't. All this kind of ridiculousness. So you can see here, this may actually be similar to a high elf, to what I'd recommend for a starting high elf team anyway. You know, the 3 rerolls are maybe not necessary. You might be able to get away without a second reroll, but I'd probably advise an apothecary starting out as any elf team. I like playing my dark elves how I play them. But if you're just starting on Dark Elves, or any elf, I would advise an Apothecary. Just purely because you may bash more than you want to. You know, I'm always going to be avoiding bashing. I'm always going to be trying to, you know, do my best to get knocked down as little as possible. But if you're a new player, you're obviously, you know, tend to get into bashy situations easily. So... yeah, it's kind of up to you, I'd say, but do consider an apothecary. You know, maybe replace a couple of players, like only have 2 blitzers, take mostly linemen, and then go for the apothecary, or you know, something like that could work. Okay. Oh yeah. So basically, I'm staggering my defense a little bit. So they have to either blitz, or they have to move into this kind of open area here. Then what I'll do is I'll try to kind of, you know, start doing 2 dice blocks, chain 2 dice blocking, and break open their cage and get the ball. Now, what I do now is probably slightly different. I'd probably try and create an opening so that my blitzer with strip ball can go after this guy, because the thing about high elves is you can see, like, they've got blitzers. They have, I think, 2 blitzers. Where in comparison to the dark elves, who have 4, you know, maximum. I think the high elves have 2 maximum. You can see 1 there, and I think that's the other one there. And then all the rest are linemen. You know, these linemen, armor value 8, agility 4, strength 3, movement 6. That's what they have. You know, they're not anything special at all. However, this is pass on agility 4, so you've got a thrower with pass and with safe throw. If a pass made by this player is ever intercepted, make an unmodified Really? I'm gonna pause it for this. 1 sec. There you go. Oh. No, there you don't go. Please. Very aggravating. Unmodified. Yeah, basically it makes it very difficult to intercept or make them get a turnover from a pass. So passing is massively safe with these guys. You know, of course, it's still down a little bit to luck, but... So you can see, like, what he's doing here is he... I'm not going to say he fell for my trap, but what I will say is, you know, I've got a lot of guys here, which, if I'd have knocked these guys down, especially, I'd have been able to bring more in. But I was basically going to envelop him and kind of force an opening on the cage. Unfortunately, that didn't exactly work out how I planned, but we'll see that in a moment. Again, you know, that's my blitzer. A 1 dice with a reroll is relatively safe. So it was worth going, yeah, okay, I'll do that reroll, and then, you know, kind of move this guy in, kind of box him in here a little bit. He then 1 diced me, got lucky like a bastard. The thing is, though, is he has 3 rerolls precisely for that fact. Like, you know, I have enough blitzers that the 2 rerolls are fairly safe. You know, I can single dice if I need to, and I've got block there to back me up. He doesn't have as much block, so... He does have some block, but he doesn't have as much block. And you can see, again, this is how you elf, this is how you defense against elf. What they do is they send a couple of players through a gap. They either pass or they run it. You know, wood elves are the same. You'll get wood elves getting through you, and then it's either pass or run. You know, handoff, run, pass, run, handoff, touchdown. All that bullshit will happen while you're playing against elves. And I'm trying to remember, I'm pretty sure, I'm a little bit worried, because I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be so stupid as to use my blitz wrong. Oh, I went against his, yeah, I went against his ball carrier. Like, I had a choice. I could use my blitzer to go against this dude, or I could try and take down his ball carrier. I figured the safe bet was going against his ball carrier. Unfortunately, I was wrong. I even did a pushback juggle to put my guy onto the. It would have been better. Oh wait, is he a blitzer? No, it would have been better if he was a blitzer, to be honest. But yeah, there you go. And again, you can see the difference. Like, I'm being very slightly more bashy than he is because I'm Dark Elves, because I've got those blocks. You know, I can play a better bashy game. Unfortunately, you know, obviously, he's got 2 dice right there to use to get rid of that guy, and then he can make a pass. He can, you know. I did force him to reroll, which is, you know, first time in the match, turn 5. Yeah, I've used 1 reroll as well. You can see what I mean about the elf teams. They don't need to reroll that often, and when they do, it's usually, oh, God's sake. Yeah. When they do need to reroll, it's usually a combat dice that's gone wrong. So he moves close to make it more likely. No intercept, no problem. There you go. And this is an elf versus elf match. Fuck you. Cheerleaders always make me feel better. I love the fact that they're all redheads. I don't know why. I guess they didn't want to spend the time making more than 1 character. You know, more than 1 model. But I love the fact that they're all redheads. So you can see, like, here, and I'm going to point out the difference. And it's not exactly the reason why I won this, but you can see the difference here between my defense and his. Like, this defense right here, this is very, 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 what's the best way to put it? Oh, yeah, that's right. I had to use my second reroll just purely because my dodge failed. Rolled a 1. Rolled a 1. But you can see here, like, this is obviously my offense. You know, I want to make the block rolls. I want to, you know, fuck people up. And all that noise. But, and you can see I'm making kind of pseudo cage right here, just to move my guy into, to push this side. But yeah, what I was saying before, sorry, is like, his defense is very, iffy. You know, it's very easy to break through, and all he's got in defense here is his thrower. And his thrower's kind of his star player. You know, if you're going to injure anyone on a high elf team, injure the thrower. Fuck the thrower up. Destroy him. Foul the crap out of him. That's my advice. And this is the thing, is you see, he's still, like, you can tell he maybe hasn't played elf teams as much, or he got drawn into the bashy game that I was running. Well, the fairly bashy game that I was running. Because the thing he should be doing is he should be kind of, he should blitz this guy, because this guy is in touchdown range. You know, and the thing about elves, especially if you haven't played elves that much, you know, if you've been playing the beta, you know, if you've played games since the beta and run into an elf team, you'll probably have realized this. This is not sufficient defense against an elf team. You know, at this point right here, you are not safe from a throw. Like, it's possible, there is a possibility it'll fail. You know, I don't have a reroll, but a little bit of dodging, a little bit of blocking, and you can kind of push this. You can kind of finagle yourself out the way, and, you know, again, sometimes it's just a matter of a little bit of luck or whatever, but yeah. And you'll often see the elves just jumping around all over the place. You know, getting 2 dice, getting 2 dice, getting 2 dice. I made a throw. I caught the throw. I was unfortunately a little unlucky with the dodge. Rolled a 1. It happens. Okay, so, you know, going from the second half into the going from the first half into the second, you can see it's 1-1. Still getting a little bit of bashing going on. No injuries or anything so far. But you can see, like, if I hadn't have rolled a 1, or if I'd have had a spare reroll, that would have been 2-1 going into the second half. You know. Let's just. So he passed over there. So yeah. Basically, I just wanted to move it forward a little bit. End of his turn, I think. Here. But yeah, you can see, like, he's kind of surrounding my elves here. It's actually not terrible. Like, that's a good position to be in as the elves. Now, the thing I did here was I realized this dude was the only one who could actually score. Knock him on his ass, and I'm fine. He can't, you know, this dude here could actually have got to the touchdown. You know, it would have been a rough one, but he could have done it. Like all the rest of these guys over here, he doesn't have enough run to get there. Which is the thing about the High Elves, is they're much more about the passing than the running. You know, so the High Elves, they'll run their catchers into your half, you know, probably dodge and etc. They'll run their catchers into your half on the first turn. On the second turn, you know, you'll be able to knock down one with Blitz, of course. On the second turn, they'll throw it to them, and they'll catch it, and they'll score a touchdown. They'll dodge out and all that nonsense. So yeah, High Elves annoying in that respect. Wood Elves are a bit like that as well. The thing about the Dark Elves is you can run them like that, or you can run them more bashy, or the number of times that's happened to me is ridiculous. In like the games I played on the stream yesterday. So these are all games from the live stream I did on Twitch. These are all people in the chat, all people in the league. The league's getting pretty big, guys. It's a lot of fun. I've played against some new players. I played against some very interesting tactics as well, so... Now, one thing he's doing that I massively would not advise is he's putting his blitzers here. Like, that block, yeah, you know, for example, it helps him out there. I just feel like, you know, as high elves, you want to be defensive on your, you know, you don't want to be bashing too much here. You know, maybe if it was a different team, like Chaos or something, he wouldn't have done this. But I feel you don't want to be as aggressive here. You want to be defensive here. And again, you can see, like, he passed that. He let that be a turnover because, you know, end of the turn. You know, there's no reason to waste that turnover when it's such a precious commodity for elves and for all elves. You know, you won't have, your players are so expensive, you won't have many rerolls. Another reason why, you know, especially starting out as an elf team, you'll be wanting to get an apothecary. And sneeze. Oh, dear me, sorry. So yeah. And there you go, first injury of the match to Boudica, I think that was. Did he? Sorry, I just want to check that. I'm gonna see he's good. I didn't see what he got there. I think it was maybe like minus strength or oh, it's minus movement. Yeah, I think it was minus movement. Come on, mate. Get that injury again. And we get to see a high elf getting injured again. Boom. Yeah. So what is it? Oh, he loses 1 point in strength. Yeah, you don't want that. Like, your players, even the linemen, are expensive, so using the apothecary there, you know, possibly a bad move, but you don't know. And again, I didn't use my reroll there. I had my guys in position how I wanted them. You know, it was not worth using a reroll. It was unfortunate, to be sure, but I didn't want to use a reroll. So yeah, because as you can tell, I'm starting to slowly run out on, you know, tips and tricks that I can pull from this video, from this match, sorry. There'll be a few points where I'll be like, oh, look at that, and look at this, and this is what I would have done, or stuff like that. But skills. Skills for your teams. Block. My advice is 3 blocks for your lineman first. And the reason I'd suggest this is very purely because it increases the... This is for a Dark Elf team, obviously, guys. So if you're Dark Elves, the first 3 linemen, I advise getting block, because it increases the likelihood of turnovers here. On this front line, and it increases fight survivability as well. Now, dodge is good, because, you know, like, obviously you'll be pushed back and everything instead, and all that kind of thing. But if you get block on your front line, it increases your survivability when they're attacking you, but it also increases the chance of turnovers. You know, if they get double both downs, or at least it'll force them to make rerolls, which is really, really useful. And again, like you see here, like I went straight in, just elf things, basically, just elf things. Knocked his ball carrier down, and then that leaves the way open for me to dodge and bitch about. And okay, I did reroll that one because I wanted the dodge, and you'll see what I mean by wanted the dodge here. I've got this guy free. If I knock that guy down, I can dodge 1, dodge 2, pick ball. Throw. Artemis. And there, you know, suddenly, like, this is why I said he needed to focus his defense on here instead of, you know, kind of, he went in for the bash a little bit. He's got both of his blitzers. The guys would block right there. I was able to get in. You know, I had a reroll just in case. I was able to get in and really just take down his ball carrier, his thrower. You know, with the thrower down, and also he got injured there, which was a bit of a shame. Missed next game, not too bad. And you can see here, again, should have possibly pulled... Oh no, he was stunned, sorry, my bad. But you can see here, like, I'm totally in the open. And now I'm probably too far away from him to really do much. Let's have a look if we can, please. Come on, please. Yeah, there you go. Bit too far away for him to do much about it. And that's the second touchdown. So yeah, you know, like, this is the kind of thing you can do as elves. You know, I've still got one touchdown. I've still got blocks I can make because I've got more guys with block. You know, I'm safer from those kind of things. There you go. Another injury. Unfortunate for him. Badly hurt, no long-term effect. At this point, he's got, I think, what is it, 3 injuries? I went for his ball carrier because, of course, I was gonna. Yeah, he's got 2 injuries. One guy, kind of, you know, I've got 1 injury. You'll see this a lot in elf teams, like a fair few number of injuries. Miss next game isn't amazing because it gives you a loner, so you have to keep an eye on your mercenaries when you get auto lineman mercenaries. You have to keep an eye on them because very much, you know, they've got that loner attribute which will affect your rerolls, and you don't want to be wasting your rerolls, especially as elves. And yeah, again, you know, you see, like, he's given up on kind of chasing down the ball. So what I could actually have done is I could have run it here and sat it here for a turn. Probably. I should check that. Oh no, there you go. He dodged through. Again, elf things. But again, you know, I could do the dodge, but I've got a blitzer right there. I can make the 2 dice block, smack him down, and get a touchdown. You know, this is the kind of thing, like, you can send off a player by himself. I could have dodged out of that, to be honest. I had a reroll as well, so that's most likely a touchdown in that situation. And the reason I didn't hold it there is because I didn't have enough of my players to kind of protect the ball carrier. You know, like, even though that guy's down, he can still get up, dodge, blitz, and, you know, still go after my ball carrier. Okay, so, there we go. Back to the game. Thank you. And, yeah, you know, down a few players, so this is my setup for my kick. You can see he's going for a touchdown here. And we're just going to skip forward a little bit. Oh yeah, also it went Blizzard, so he couldn't pass as easily. Because the passing is either quick or short, which is you know, very kind of like around this kind of length. There goes Boudica again, KO'd. Just skip that. Okay, so you can see, like, he's running down this side here. His guy's got the ball there. And he's going to try and bash down my line of scrimmage guys. You know, maybe get an injury, maybe, you know, get whatever you can, basically, from that situation. Like, if you get injuries, great. If you just knock them down, at least they, you know, lose a bit of maneuverability for the next turn. Maybe you'll stun them, like Bellona got stunned again. And a lot of the time, when the elves pull this nonsense, all you're going to be able to do is get into their tackle zones and hope that you at least force a reroll on them. You know, kind of get in front of them, stop them from doing anything. The best thing you can do is find the one who's closest to the touchline, the one they most likely want to use, and double dice block them, and put them into a position where they're not going to want to get back up. So, for example, there. You know, stun, useful. This guy here, you know, obviously they don't have the same maneuverability, so that was the only guy who could score a touchdown. What he could have done is he could have run forward, passed it to him, run forward, hand off to the next guy, and you know, all the dodging and stuff. Like he doesn't have any rerolls anymore. He's unfortunately had to use them all, but still, you know, it's a safe enough tactic as an elf to do. And the only thing I'd say here is, again, like, I wouldn't advise being so confrontational as the High Elves. You know, in this situation with he's 2 players down. To be fair, I'm two players down as well. But you know, playing against elves and etc. I wouldn't advise it. Obviously, I could just leave my blitzer there. You know, even if he gets up, he can't score a touchdown from that. But I decided to go I decided to go a bit of a bashy route. And also, again, with my blitzers, I can generally afford to single dice a bit more than he can, because his blitzer, you know, one blitzer there. Is that the other one? Where's it's so hard to find the high elf blitzers. There's the other one there. You know, if I need to, I can afford to single dice. And when all else fails, again, just push him back a little bit. You see, now he can't make that throw touchdown, whereas before he could. And there you go. He's got 2 more turns left to score. Now, pulling up that dude, getting him in a position to get a touchdown is, of course, great. So he's got 6 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exactly close enough to get a touchdown. Next turn. Again, safe throw, so it stops me from intercepting even if I want to. Very, very annoying. Because, you know, as elves, you've got the chance to intercept much easier. And basically what he kind of relied upon here, which, you know, I'm not going to say he was desperate, but what he relied upon here, which he maybe shouldn't have, is the fact that, you know, I'm all in his tackle zones. So, you know, like, I've got a... sorry, I don't have a reroll anymore, but I'm all in his tackle zones. And you know, he kind of relied on the fact that, oh, he won't be able to get to me. However, a little bit of going for it. Dodge. Push him out the way. Like, even if this had just been a push, it would have stopped him from getting a touchdown on the next turn. Because he was literally on his last going for it to get there. And yeah, you can see I decided, like, should I go for it, should I not? I wasn't 100% sure on the likelihood. Unfortunately, I was just out of reach. Like, I needed one more space, and I would have been able to get a 3rd touchdown. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but, you know. And that's how these things go sometimes. And yeah, that's a Dark Elf game. You know, you should be able to get a fair idea of both how to deal with elves and how to, well, how to play as elves. And, you know, like, hopefully, if you're thinking about playing high elves, you'll have seen this one as well, because I'm better talking about dark elves than I am about high elves. You know, I'm not very good with high elves. And yeah, you know, like, the only thing I'll say, like, different, like, you can see the difference here. Like, even in this setup, like, he's only got 1 guy back, and that's his passer. And his passer isn't great defensively. This is the thing. This is the bonus, the real bonus to the Dark Elves, is their 4 blitzers. You can afford 3 guys on the front line, full defense, 1, 2, 3, right there. You know, 3 blitzers to respond to situations, and then 1 at the back who can defend against Elfie bullshit, or Skaven bullshit, or whatever. And yeah, it was a really good elf versus elf game. I'll say that as well. It was such a fun game to play. And there were so many times when I was like, oh no, you bastard, you know, like you're going for this touchdown, I'm not gonna let you, and you know, he's doing the same thing. You know, trying to kind of be defensive, trying to be offensive as well. And there you go. The end of the game. So yeah, again, my advice when it comes to leveling up, you know, I know you've already got these blitzers here with block, but I feel like 3 linemen with block on the front line starting off is a good call. Then, when the rest of them start leveling up, you can start getting kick, you can start getting dodge, you know, the other things that make things really helpful. But those first three blocks, I feel is very useful because the enemy is also going to be getting block on their linemen, which means that when they're attacking you, they're going to be smacking down your linemen a lot more. You know, tackle is a secondary thing, block is the first thing. I'm saying this for the most part. So you're going to see a lot more block than you're going to see tackle, which means that it would be better for you to get block in a way because you can counteract that block and you can add survivability to these front lines. You know, so Artemis, Grazyna, and no, maybe Athena, possibly Freya, but they'll get 3 blocks, and then the rest will probably get dodge and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is Dark Elf tips and tricks and things like that. You know, it's a passing. It's very high. I don't want to say high octane, but you know, it's very high activity. You know, there's a lot of movement. It's very mobile. It's like Skavens, but you know, it's like Skavens but safer. So, yeah. And there you go. We've got 148 people in the league at the moment, which is just so awesome. We've got the official sheepdog ladder, which is now out. And you can see, you know, you've got a dark elf, high elf, dark elf, human, chaos, chaos, dark elf, Bretonnian, dark elf, orc, chaos, chaos. Looks like we've got a lot of difference. We've got some Bretonnians about the place. Even some humans. So, yeah. And again, let me just point this out for those of you who may not have noticed it. You know, Dark Elf, High Elf, Human, Chaos, Bretonnian, Orc, all up there. You know, everyone here's got wins: Chaos, Bretonnian, Orc, High Elf, Chaos, Dark Elf, Skaven, and then Lost, Dwarves. Only a couple of Dwarves, and they've drawn 1, lost 1. Midnight is a great coach. You know, what's the other dwarf? Wormeater. I did play a game, I think, against Wormeater, as I remember, and he was a good coach as well. But you know, dwarves are just now with the elves. Dwarves are going to have a big problem starting off. You know, again, luck dependent and all that kind of thing, but yeah. So there you go, guys. That is the Dark Elf tips and tricks with a very quick look at the league as well. So, I really hope you enjoyed the stream. God damn it. What's wrong? Sorry, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I really hope it helped you out. I will be doing Bretonnians. I will be doing High Elves, although I wouldn't set too much stock in my High Elf. My High Elf game is very low because I barely ever play them. So, you know, I'll do my best. I'll do a bit of reading up, maybe this time, I think, for the High Elves, possibly for the Bretonnians as well. You know, everything else has just been off the top of my head, you know, stuff I feel could help you and everything. I may have to do a little bit of research on the Bretonnians and on the High Elves, just to give you a bit of a better idea of how to play them and what skills to take and stuff. But there you go, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped. I'll see you in the next one.